Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Linda Matteoli from Origins Incubator, and I help physicians create and launch their ideal practice. So, today I want to talk about being a beginner. What does that mean in terms of starting your own practice? What does that mean about the types of patients you attract and how you convey what you can help and can't help with, especially within the realm of integrative lifestyle based medicine? And so what I sometimes hear from physicians when they're starting out is that they feel that if they are charging patients cash prices for their services, so what I help physicians do is we create a cash-based membership. So it's a really great space for physicians to not only provide exceptional value in terms of longer appointment times, maybe classes, group visits, additional resources, and having other providers on board like therapists, health coach, all these things. So when it comes to lifestyle-based medicines, as you know, oftentimes we're having them adjust behaviors and modifying other things that they need just a lot of support with. So with that, insurance doesn't cover a lot of these things, so we have to charge cash prices. When sometimes we have this thought that if they're paying you X amount a month, like say your membership is 249 a month, something like that for 12 months, that's the commitment. That the idea of referring them out, you feel like you know your services are no longer, like you're devaluing your services, or that the patient might think that they're not getting the value that they had paid for. And let me tell you, this is a thought. So there are two different things that I want to make very clear about this. Number one, get do the work initially and get really clear on what you treat and what you don't treat. Be extremely transparent about that in the very, very beginning. So I have always, so in the discovery call, which is that first phone call where like you're just kind of getting to know what the patient's coming in for, that is a beautiful opportunity where so say a patient comes in and they're like, I think I might have mold toxicity, or I think I might have a tick-borne illness, and that is what I want to be like worked up and treated for. You need to be very clear in the beginning if that is not something that you treat or you're comfortable treating. You let them know that, and you refer out. Even if somebody is talking to me about symptoms like fatigue, insomnia, IBS symptoms, things like that, and those are things that I do feel comfortable treating, I will always tell them, these are the things that I don't get into. Like I don't do hormone replacement therapy, I don't do IVs, I don't do ozone therapy. I just kind of like let them know like this is what I don't do, but this is what you'll be getting. Like this is what it would be like in my practice. And if you haven't watched my video about value, it's a really great video so you can kind of get the verbiage and the construction of how to really convey what you offer, because no matter what you offer, it is extremely valuable because you created it and you're doing it, and there are patients who want exactly what you're offering. You just have to make sure that you're conveying it in a way that it's matched. So that's number one. They need to initially know that you might be referring out. And I always tell patients that, like, in this journey of uncovering things, I might find things on your stool analysis that would indicate a GI referral. Or, we might find things on your labs, or you might be progressing in such a way that, I might need to refer you to endo or cardiology. If that's the way you practice, I think that they just need to know that you are not going to be their be all end all for all the things that might potentially come up for them. I think that that's a lot of pressure on you, and we need to manage expectations right away. Avoid thinking you have to know it all. That thought of like, I have to know everything. We always need to be educating ourselves, and as we get kind of stronger in our practice and things like that, we can always like expand what we treat. But I think that thought is a pretty toxic thought, that like you have to have all the answers because you don't, you know, and it'll give you a bit more freedom if you allow yourself to have that. So don't let this thought stop you from seeing new patients, as in like, I don't know enough, or I don't, I don't know it all. I don't know how to treat. I don't know how to treat hormones, so therefore it's not ready for me. I'm not ready to open yet. That kind of thing. Because I promise you, like what you do have and the unique way that you offer treatment to patients is valuable the way that it is, and you can always grow. Like I said, um, trust is built on transparency and honesty. So when patients get upset about things, it's oftentimes because they may have felt misled, they may have not understood all of those things. I refer out all the time. I've kind of stopped memberships with patients. Like say we uncover something that I don't treat, then the right thing to do is say, we're kind of at the end of our road because this is not something I treat. You have two options. You can either continue on with me and we can continue on these foundational pieces, lifestyle pieces, which is really what I feel comfortable doing and what I have in my membership. And then you can see this person for this like upper level treatment and we can kind of move forward together, or we can kind of stop our membership and part ways, and you can move on with them. And it's always been a good goodbye. It's always been a good ending. When you kind of bring it with that energy of like, I want what's best for you, and we're doing what's best for you, and you're just transparent about your thought process the entire time. And so again, it's like, if you don't treat, say, Lyme or heavy metals or things like that, you word it as like, we peel back all the layers and with, we're left with this diagnosis that I don't treat, then that is a time to refer out. So just kind of letting them know that. And and so I hope that this is helpful when you are evaluating when you should start your practice, because I hear this from physicians a lot. Like, I don't know if I know enough. I don't know if I'm ready. But that's typically because they may have heard somebody talking about something or heard something at a conference that they're just like, oh, I don't know that. Oh my gosh. And then they end up on this thought spiral of like, do I know anything? What do I know? Maybe I shouldn't even be here. All of that. So just kind of, I always try to bring people back to like, what do you know? What do you feel comfortable with? Like, is it the foundational lifestyle, nervous system, working with nutrition and stress management, and doing some gut support and adrenal support? That is plenty. You can help so many people with that. So stay strong in like what you feel comfortable doing, and really increase that value of your practice around that areas. As you get more confident and you learn more, you can always continue to expand out. But um, I used to get intimidated when I heard other physicians talking, and when they were treating things that I didn't know how to treat, or have these resources. And then I just started making a list of them, because then they became my referrals. So I would say, that's not something that I do. But I have this colleague who this is what they specialize in. This is what they enjoy. So maybe you need to reach out to them. So just kind of bringing a different energy, different focus, like create the tribe. And then that becomes an added value, an added resource. So in your discovery call, you can say, I don't have all the answers, and we may uncover things that I don't treat, but I'm part of this greater network. So I will be able to get you in touch with whoever we need to get you in touch with so you can continue on your journey. So you're turning it from like, oh, I need to know all the things, to an added value, an increased value that you can kind of use to help the patient achieve their goals. So see you next time. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day.